Okay.
Well, welcome everyone to the Centralist. I hope everyone's having a great day. I can't help it. I love a little Sandman at the start of the show. Well, there's my camera. We don't play it every week when we play this particular show because this is a Centralist. Sometimes we play some, well, I guess you could say rowdy country, not rowdy country. I guess it would be rowdy independence music. Yeah, I got different friends who send me stuff. You know, they're big patriots, so they send me stuff all the time about this crazy thing and that crazy thing. And what's interesting is I got, patriots from the north, patriots from the south, patriots from the east, patriots from the west. They're all a little bit different and they're all a little strange. What do you mean, Glenn? No, I love my country. I've been in the military. I fought and fought for my country. It's not that. But they're a different kind of patriots. All I can say. No, I'm patriot. I believe in my country, but they're a little more hardcore, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. They're definitely into a lot of different things. No, they were none of the people who broke into the damn thing. Let's just not even go there, people. No, they didn't go breaking into anything. No, they wouldn't have wasted their time going to DC because DC is a total waste of time. It's just, I've been to DC on several occasions. I've spoken DC on several occasions. Thanks to Stephen Bett, I got to speak at the Washington Press Club a couple of times, which is an honor. Just getting to speak at the Washington Press Club is just, just being able to say, hey, I got to speak at the Washington Press Club more than one time. Yes. You mean on politics? Only one time on politics. 3 times on ufology stuff, 1 time on politics. Yes. Well, we got a big conspiracy show. Well, okay, a couple of things. Before I bring on our guests, we got a couple of things going on. We got the Balenciaga show coming up in January 20th, which is going to be about all the dolls and all that other stuff and all this pedophilia going around. So that's going to be on the 20th. That's going to be a pretty hard hitting show. We've got some other specialty shows coming up besides that. Janine, I don't know if we're going to tackle abortion maybe later in the year, but I mean, this show that Stephanie Benetti and I did is still available. It's a hard hitting show. There's no reason to really do another one. It pretty much says everything that we needed to say. The only difference now is the numbers will be bigger than they were back then. That was about 10 years ago. So you would see a difference in, how many they are and how many kids and all of that. But that's neither here nor now. No ufology, not in that respect. Ufology, but not in that respect. So we do shows like that. We're going to do shows on Trump versus Biden. Well, we weren't going to do any shows on that, and then so Trump got his house raided for documents he brought home. Now we found out Joe Biden's had the same thing in 3 different houses. So why haven't they raided him? So yeah, we're going to do a show on that. Well, you got to be careful when you're fighting with the government, man. You have all your ducks in a row. You don't want to get in the bad side. I mean, you don't make an enemy out of Nancy Pelosi. God knows she might strip you naked and put you in a house or something. Inside joke, people. But anyway, stop. We ain't got time for all of that tonight. We're doing radio tonight. We got Giovanni. Giovanni, how you say your last name? Sticco? Am I saying it right? It's 2 C's and a O. Okay.
Yeah, I can't see. I can't see you, Joe.
What do you mean you can't see me, man? I don't know how you can't see me. The world can see me. Tell them why can't you see me? I'm damn sexy too.
I'm seeing like a black screen.
I don't know what that is. Guys and girls, can y'all see me out there? I can restart the screen. Hold on a second. Okay. And see if that's what it is. And let's see.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. We stop the screen that away.
That's me. Yeah.
And add that in there. There you go. Now you should be able to see me because I can see me. I can see both of us.
There you go. There you go.
It's
there you go.
Glenda. Well, no, I'm gonna get him to properly introduce himself in a second. Just in a second. We're gonna talk about a couple of things tonight. Marcus, not tonight. Jenny, not tonight. Getty, not tonight. It's not what we're talking about tonight. No, politics is mainly for Friday nights. It's mainly for Friday nights. It's usually when we do hardcore politics on Friday nights. Tonight, usually we do ufology and whatever Michelle DeRoche is up, who follows this show. She has the Outer Realm. Michelle is also the station manager who's in charge of keeping all these freaking egos under control, including mine, by the way. Mine's probably the hardest out of the bunch. But so a couple of things coming up. We're fixing to make 500 million on SoundCloud. I think we're less than 19 million away. So I have to go check for sure. But soon we're going to break 500 million, and we've only been on SoundCloud I think 3.5 years. So it's pretty damn good. In the last year and a half was we're doing really good, and then we got a boost from COVID of all things, and then COVID went down, slowed us down, but then we got another boost just recently, and we're on so many venues that I've lost track of them. I mean, we're on every major one, such as, if you're on iHeart or iTunes, you can find us there. We've been on iTunes since iTunes started. iHeart we've been on for about 7 or 8 years. Also, Pod Addict, Podbean, all of them are on all of those and all of those subspecies, as I like to call them. We're on over 200 podcast sites around the world. So just look for us. We're on sites I can't even pronounce the name of. Oh, yeah. There are German podcasts and Russian podcasts and Chinese podcasts. I have no idea. I know it's us because I know I can see the media on it, but I can't. And then now, let me bring the mic a little closer. Dun, 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 dun. Now we have our own Roku channel. Now, if you don't know what Roku is true streaming television. This is where streaming television started. This is the people who really invented it. I remember a friend of mine says, "You got to get Roku. You got to get." I was like, "What? I got 400 channels on cable. What I need Roku for?" He said, "Just trust me." I had it 6 months. That was I don't know 18 years ago. I have not paid for cable since. Other than the internet, I have not paid for cable since. I used to pay about $400, between $300 and $400 a month, depending on what we were using for cable every month for the house and the business. And I don't pay for. I don't get any of that anymore. I do pay for Netflix. Yeah, you get Netflix is what, a $12, $14 a month. Prime, which is probably about the same. We have Hulu. Hulu comes with ESPN and Paramount. So yeah, so you get that. Oh no, not Paramount. Disney. So you get that, and then we got Paramount on something else, and then we have HBO and a couple of others. So anyway, all together with everything we have, we still don't break $80. That is so much cheaper than what, and I don't even have to have that. It's weird for me, but we get into like things. So we'll like watch Prime for a while, and then we burnt out on Prime. We'll watch Netflix for a while. So I don't even have to keep them if I don't want to because we're not going to use them for a while. No, we have HBO Max, yeah, because we were watching. Linda was watching something with the Wolves or something, so we got it back. And there's a lot of Doctor Who's and other stuff there. Right now, we're watching Hulu and Orville. If you don't know what Orville is, check it out. Orville is like a funny version of Star Trek. it's, it's like Discovery on steroids. There you go. No, it's just different. You should go check it out. It's Seth Meyers is the guy who runs it as the captain. He's isn't he Family Guy, I believe? And so, if y'all know who all that is. But anyway, getting back to the Roku channel. So the station has now opened up its daytime and late night slots. So usually we only had from 4 p.m. to 2 a.m. open. That was the maximum you could only get in those slots. And to be frank with you, except for maybe late night Saturday and Sunday, they were all filled. Getting on a network was really hard to do. You could get on as a syndicated show where you got played in the syndicated runs on the rerun queues, which ran all the time, but getting on the station itself was hard. And it still is hard if you're trying to get into an evening slot. But now we've learned something and we've changed the way we do it. Actually, I said Michelle DeRoche did this. She has turned our daytime slot into our overseas slots. Now, what's funny about this is Americans love to hear British and Australian accents and stuff like that, Scottish. They just love it. But for our Brits and our Scots and our friends overseas, this is prime time for them. It may be, whatever time in the morning here, but for them, they're 7 hours ahead of us. So if it's 6 a.m. here, or if it's 10, if it's 7 o'clock here, it's prime time for them. Well, yeah, I know all the times because I have to do my shows, and a lot of my guests are overseas. And my old show didn't start to 7, which was 1 a.m. England time, and then I think it was 4 a.m. in Italy. But anyway, it's nice to know those slots. So now these people are coming on at bright times like lunchtime here, which means it's 7 o'clock there. Yes. Or coming on at 2 in the afternoon, which means it's 9 o'clock there. So it's prime time for them. And since the Roku will follow out the same for them, they will be on television on prime time in Britain. How many people get to say that I'm actually on television at prime time in England? I know. That's pretty damn good by anybody's standards. All of us, well, I don't know which host for sure yet will actually be on Roku yet. And we have new people looking to get on just the Roku side. So we'll see. What does it start at? Bare minimum. The lowest you can get in is $100 a month. Yeah, that's bare minimum. And that doesn't get you a lot. It gets you on Roku, but it doesn't get you a lot. It just depends what you're doing. Well, because one of the reasons Roku is a little bit more expensive is one of us have to personally produce. So with StreamYard, I can give hosts a big break because they can produce their own shows. Now, not all of them do. Some of them prefer me to produce them, which is fine. But a lot of them can produce their own shows, so they get a break for producing their own show. But and they can do that. But with this, it's different. They're not going to be able to produce their own show. No. I'm sure Roku do not want them even screwing around with their equipment anyway. So that's going to be another thing. But like, see Giovanni's lovely face tonight. So in a couple of days, actually, what is today? Wednesday. So either Thursday or Friday, he will be streaming on Roku. So if y'all have Roku and you want to see if he's a good looking guy, and you got like an 80-inch TV, might want to see a pimple on his nose or something. We do broadcast in 1080i, not P. And we also, you can pick us up in 4K as well now. So you can see us as I don't know why you want to see us that clear, but hey, if that's what you want, you know. Giovanni said, "Down here, put some makeup on, man. What the hell? You didn't tell me this." Yes. So there's a lot going on. Just keep up with the station. Michelle's posting regularly. I'm posting regularly. So there's a lot to keep up with. A lot of growing stuff going on now. Before I let the guests speak, there are two other things involved with this new growth. So we're on Roku now. If the Roku pays for itself and does what it should be doing, then we will probably also offer Amazon. So if you get like Fire Stick or Amazon on your television or whatever, it's built into your TV, you will now, within 3 months, be able to get us on Amazon. And if that does well, we will put y'all on Apple TV and Samsung TV. And there's about 6 branches of this television we can go on. So we're starting with Roku because it's the biggest. Amazon's the second biggest. Really, they're probably tied these days. But they will be the next one. So between them two, I mean, everybody and their mama's got one or the two of them. What do you mean Google Chrome? No, you mean Chromecast? No, I don't want no. I got Chromecast. That's not what it is. It's something different. Yeah, I guess a stick not sitting not even 2 feet from me. No, it's for something different. But anyway, Giovanni, how are you tonight, man? So tired to get all this news out of the way first. Oh wait, one other thing. I love my big mugs. I could kill someone with this. Go ahead, man.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm doing well, and um, I'm out here in Las Vegas, and I take it Are you in Shreveport, or are you in whereabouts
Usually,
are you?
right now I'm in past Christian, Mississippi on the Gulf Coast. Most of the time I'm
Oh,
in New
okay.
Orleans. So you'll either catch me in New Orleans or you'll catch me here. This is our studio in the woods, but it's really our studio in the Gulf. Where I'm at right now. If you walked out of my back door and you
Hmm.
walk down the stairs, you would literally be 25 feet from the bayou. That's how close the water is in my back of my house. And then if you walk down the bayou just 175 yards, you'd be standing in the Gulf of Mexico. So
Ah,
there's a lot of water
you're
around here, and I've actually
you're in a
seen
good
it.
spot.
I've actually seen it 10 feet below my house. So where there was only a 6 inch
Really?
space between my floor and the water. Oh yeah, it's creepy looking when you see it like that. Hell, I was sitting here tonight. It blew my roof off this side of the studio, and this side of the studio in the house. Thank God, whoever put the metal roof on left the shingle roof on, so it saved me from massive amounts of sheetrock damage, and which is poor construction because I shouldn't have done it that way. But still, in our benefit, it worked out for us. So I'm sure they didn't want to have to give me
Uh,
another 100 grand. They were already hot. So you mean what you do? So what you doing out in Vegas?
well, I've been here for over a decade, and I had moved here from Hawaii, and now just doing stuff, entertainment stuff, and then started to break into the film business, and just I'm here now. I don't know where I'm going to be. Thinking about going back out to LA eventually soon, maybe this year sometime. I don't know, but
Well, I'll be there in April. Well, I'll be there in the April, beginning of May.
oh,
I'll be
really?
out in LA.
Where?
Yeah, I'll be
Vegas?
no in LA.
Oh, you'll be in LA.
In LA,
Yeah.
yeah. I go out every
It's
it's the end of every April for Writers of the Future. They do they have their big gala event. So we work
oh,
press for
okay.
them when we go out. And John Goodman, who's a friend of mine, is also one of the hosts on our network. So it's a nice setup.
Cool.
We do a lot of press for them. They bring us out to LA. Now they're going to get some Roku time. It's just a good deal out for everybody involved. And these winners get free radio time, lots of radio time from both of us.
Mhm.
Now they're going to get exposure to television, which is if you're going to be if you're going to be a big illustrator or a big writer, you need to be ready to be on television or on decent radio shows because you got to know how to react to people. You can't just do that. So
Yes. Yes.
what kind of media though, man? This ain't none of this. You ain't made none of these triple X films out there, brother. Look, he's smiling. Oh shit, now, man.
Well, I'll be honest with you. This is now that is the hub now. It used to be out in I think it was out in like Chatsworth or something they were doing, but now all that stuff is coming here. Like, the adult
Yeah, because they
entertainment,
changed
and
the
we just had
laws
the
there. Yeah.
yeah, they changed the laws. They just had that recently. What last week the ABS awards or ABS? That's the whole adult film industry. So there's always something going down in Las Vegas. It's become like the new hub. For now, I think they said they're going to try to turn Vegas into the new Hollywood. Better tax incentives and all this kind of other stuff like that. I'm an
Well,
indie
Vegas
man.
got a
I
good.
like I I do. I'm an independent kind of a guy. But I mean, yeah,
Well,
there's
there's
a lot
lots
of
of good
stuff
indie
going on over
films
here.
out there. And ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't hear what he said, he's an indie. Indie just means independent. He's an independent filmmaker, which there's a lot of good indie films out there. I mean, there's some. I should have never watched the damn thing, but there's a lot of good ones out there too.
Yeah,
No,
I
there's
mean,
awards for those
it's
too.
got more heart.
Yeah.
It's got more heart because they don't have as much money as the big boys do. So you're going to get, I feel, a lot better content and more grit and more heart and soul
Yeah,
and
because you got to
something like
work
that. Because
harder.
they got to, yeah,
You got to
uh-huh,
sell it.
that's right.
You don't
Yeah,
have all that
absolutely.
glitz and glamour to sell it. All that flashy $2 million, $25 million worth of effects behind you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, even regular TV. I mean, even if you're watching soap opera, believe it or not, there's quite a lot of special effects that goes into those. There's lots of
Yeah, but
effects, and
people,
it's
yeah,
lots
yeah.
of money.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's lots of money. Well, if y'all ever notice, if you ever watch Ancient Aliens, ladies and gentlemen, they don't use stages. They go to people's homes or hotels and do it. So it's like a pre-setup for them. So it saves them a lot of money, and they get a really nice thing. The last time I filmed with them was with Prometheus was about 5 years ago, 4 years ago, I think. And they rented a home out in Los Angeles. Reminded me of a home in New Orleans, actually. It was very well set up, really good for TV. But the time before that, I was in New York, and the time before that at a hotel, and the time before that I was in DC at the Mandarin Hotel, no less. So, yeah, I mean that's a better way of doing it. I mean, you a lot of the stuff is there for you. You don't have to go out and buy this and buy that and buy stuff because New Orleans got a big movie industry now, and so
Yeah,
does
absolutely.
Atlanta.
I heard
So
about that.
yeah, so a lot of my friends are in the industry. They'll call me and say, "Hey, you need some black tile, you need this or you need that," because they build these high dollar movie sets that cost a lot of money. They have to hire contractors to do it, and then when they're done, they tear them down. And they just give them away or just throw them in a dump or whatever. And I've seen some beautiful woodworks come out of these things and artwork and stuff
Hmm.
that they're just going to trash. And or they're going to, somebody that worked on a set or somebody around them or some friends might want it. I
Hmm.
got a matter of fact, I got a friend off of one set. I got him 1,800 square feet of black white veined marble. It's about $25 a foot, and probably saved him $25,000 to $30,000. He is just happy as could be. The film people were happy to get rid of it. It was a love all the way
Yeah,
around. But
that's the thing about it. With independent filmmaking, I meant it's tough. They have to. And nowadays with movies, that you can't fool people with special effects. If there's not a good story, it's not a good story. But
yeah,
Hollywood thinks they can just kind of
well, they prey on the younger
camouflage.
generations. That's
Yeah,
that's what they
true.
do. Like the Z Jenners and the generation after them. they're going to
Mhm.
the movies looking for something flashy, something fun, something nothing with a lot of content because most of the content's going to go over their head. But the millennials now have woke up. The millennials are like, oh, wait a minute, I want some content. The X Geners have been wanting content, and the baby boomers have always wanted content. So, and the baby boomers, even though they're aging now, they still are big supporters of the indie filmmakers, and
Yeah,
always will until they're finally all dead and gone.
yeah.
And so it's
Well,
just
well,
part of it. Yeah.
yeah, and you were mentioning about Louisiana. I tell you, referring to, that's where Elvis got his big break on Louisiana Hayride out in Shreveport, I believe, and that's where my father got his big break as well, at Louisiana Hayride. And
Yeah.
it's
A lot
always
of
been
musicians come out of
Louisiana's
here.
always. Yeah, they do. You know, my dad had went out there in '58, and they went up for Dean Vincent, and
It's weird too
no,
because people think of music down here. They rarely think
hmm
of Mississippi, which is a ton of music came out of. But
yeah,
they always want to think about New Orleans, and most of the music didn't come out. They may play in New Orleans, and most of the music didn't come out of New Orleans, except maybe some heavy jazz singers and stuff like that.
yeah,
But really, any of the
hmm
blues singers, any of the country singers, they didn't come out of New Orleans. They may have went there to
yeah,
play, but they came out of places like Shreveport or other places, Lafayette, along those places, Baton Rouge and places like that, or they came
hmm
out of like Hattiesburg, Mississippi, or Jackson, or Tupelo, Mississippi, places like that supported that kind of music, and they supported it with big time.
absolutely,
Nowadays, it's a weird place now. The music scene here is weird, weird, weird because we got the
yeah,
Gulf Coast, which is just full of casinos. So they're playing
yeah,
every Tom, Dick, and Harry that's shouldn't be even singing anymore. Stuff they're
yeah,
playing,
that's right.
and but I will say this: Biloxi has been putting money into independent filmmakers. And since the
Oh
Gulf
yeah,
Coast has so many old homes to shoot in, and they got this guy and this they're a couple actually. They've been shooting movies. What they do is they rent a plantation for however they can afford it for, and then they shoot the whole. They lay out the whole movie and what's going to be in that plantation. They shoot everything that's got to be shot in that plantation, however many ever days they got, and of course, they add in other scenes from other locations, but they want to get it done, and they do it. I'm telling you what, man, whoever they got editing for them is doing a fucking fabulous job because it's a seamless movie. They're really good. They're really putting the old school life together down here that a lot of people have forgotten. People forget what the South really was and how it
hmm
came to be, and all they ever want to talk about is slavery, which is such a small part of what the South is. And somebody told me the other day, well,
yeah,
y'all did slavery and all the slaves left. I said, no, the majority of blacks live in Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia. I think 88 or 90% of them live in those four states. Yes, please do not tell me you don't. People
hmm
tell me all the time. I said, I'm from the South, right, people? I said, don't tell me about my own history, please. I said, I don't tell you about your history. Don't tell me
yeah,
about mine. But what got you to go to Vegas? I mean, Vegas is I got some friends that went to Vegas. And Vegas is a weird place to go. I mean, you got to have a certain attitude to live there. There's a lot going on there. Even if you're not involved with the casino stuff, there's just a lot of stuff that goes on in and out around Vegas.
hmm
It just and then now that they've changed the laws, I know Glenn, actually, prostitution is legal in Vegas now. It used to not be. It was only legal in towns over in areas over under 250,000 people, counties and under 200. But for some reason along the line, in the last
hmm
5 years, I guess because they legalized marijuana, they should shit. We might as well legalize prostitution.
yeah.
Well, it depends how.
Yeah, well, we can't ignore the fact of what's going on in Las Vegas and that people come here for everything that you can possibly imagine, from conventions to
Oh yeah,
shows, this, that. This is an all you can, it's like a buffet. It has a wide assortment of different things. We
it's a
have to
fun city,
constantly cater to tourism. Now we're having Formula One racing that's coming this year to Las Vegas, and
and
they
it's a
have
good
to
place for
constantly
it
keep
too.
reinventing themselves. Well, yeah, I mean, anything you want, and all kinds of different kinds of music is out here, this, that, or the other. But I will say one thing though,
Great
getting
food.
back to like, I was going to mention something about the old school music and stuff, and you were mentioning before, is that thank God we had that Elvis movie come out because it kind of made people think about, the younger generation, how cool the music was in them days.
There's a lot of good
The
music.
rockabilly music, and yeah, the rockabilly music and rock and roll. It'll never die, and there'll always be a huge, you know, it's such a huge, following for that kind of music.
And then, well, it is. It's a fun music. It's a good music, and it's music. It don't necessarily skip a generation. Sometimes it takes other generations a little longer to catch up with it. But there's a lot of good music out there that I noticed even the Z Gen is starting to catch up with now. They're like, wow, this is pretty good. This is pretty good. But it's
Mm-hmm.
funny because the Z Gen is have to listen to it like off hide and once they really like it, and they find out some of their friends are listening, then it's okay. But before that, it's like a dirty thing or something. They can't tell anybody they're listening to it. Whereas the millennials enjoy it. But my son's a millennial, and watching him grow
Mm-hmm.
up and watching who he was at 27 and seeing who he is at 37, he's entirely two different
Mm-hmm.
people. And he's got a
Right.
wide range of music he listens to. Actually, I'm sorry, I'm not even know how to pronounce that. I'm going to leave it alone. Actually, you mean rap? Oh, no, he listens to rap. Yeah. You mean drive me crazy? No, I don't hate all rap. I don't like all rap. No, don't get me wrong. I can't listen to rap all the time, but there are rap songs I
Yeah.
like. It's actually I can't say any. There's not any music. Once Giovanni said, I can't think of any music that is not something I like. Even hillbilly. Yeah, there's some even
Well,
hillbilly
it's always,
music I like.
yeah, it's always good to have an open mind about all kinds of music, though. But
Yeah.
I mean, for me, though, I think hip hop music and rap music is an acquired taste, and there's
Well,
some
it
good
is
stuff out there. But
just
yeah,
like
for me,
country though. It's a
I lean
quiet.
more. It's an acquired taste, and whatever. And for me, though, I mean, I have a very large, kind of open mind to music and stuff like that. But um, yeah, and living in Las Vegas, getting back to Vegas, uh, you have to be literally thick-skinned to kind of, you have to overlook everything. This is a bizarre town. You know, it's different. It's
It's definitely different. I've been there several
yeah,
times,
it's
and
fast. It's one of the fastest, growing cities in the nation world. People moving here like there's no tomorrow.
yeah. Well, the
But
first time I was ever exposed to Vegas, I was in the Navy, and I used to go to Fallon, Nevada for the bombing derbies. Now, people, when I went to Vegas the first time, it was old Vegas. They remember the old
mhm.
Vegas sign you see in all the movies? Yeah, that's what was there. It was old Vegas, is what it was. It's a
Yeah,
whole different place than it is today. It was a whole different place than it was
absolutely.
20 years ago. So, first time my wife and
Mhm.
I went there, which was, I don't know, 20 years, it was a different place, but it was even trying to cater to kids. And now it's a whole different, it just like he just said, it just reinvents itself every so often, maybe every 15 years. It reinvents
Yeah,
itself, but it needs to because Vegas is a show town. So when people get bored with it, they stop going. So, after you go to old Vegas enough times, you've seen
yeah,
it 4 or 5 times, yeah, there's no reason to go back. And so on and so on and so forth. So
right.
now Vegas is trying to incorporate all of its old skins under another new skin, and we'll just wait and see where it goes. That's all you can do. Yes, Jenny.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
pot is
yeah,
legal in Vegas. I'm sorry, it is. Don't hate me. I didn't make the law. I mean, I have no
yeah, yeah.
problem with the
I
law,
mean,
but I
yeah,
don't hate it.
yeah. I mean, the only thing that's left of Vegas is Fremont Street. I mean, everything else on the strip it's all kind of new and stuff, and um, there was a time when it was fun to come here. Now it's very the vibrations of the whatever energy of the old Vegas doesn't really exist anymore. It's so different now. But you know, that's the thing about it, though.
Yeah, and in 20
So
years it'll be back to
yeah,
something else. It's a
absolutely,
strange place.
absolutely.
It's a strange
But
place.
I
I
tell you
know
one
I know we
thing.
get this teaser up here, but go ahead. What were you saying?
Oh yeah. Um, yeah. I mean, I'll tell you one thing though. My father once told me, he says, Johnny, Vegas was better when the mob ran it.
I hate to
People were
say, but
winning.
I do agree with him.
I'm
I mean,
telling.
I
I
hate
meant,
to
but what
agree with that,
happened?
but I do.
Yeah, I meant. I don't know what happened along the way, but eventually it went corporate. And
Well, that's what happened. It went corporate. The
I don't know
mob were
what
bought
happened. I
out
don't know.
by
I don't know if the mob.
corporations.
I don't know. Based upon the Martin Scorsese film Casino, it looks like the mob got a little bit. I don't know what happened, but they were constantly under surveillance, and I think eventually they
It
said,
wasn't even that. There was some of that, but what really happened is corporations came in
Yeah.
and made them offers of money that it would take them, even as a mobster, a decade or more to make. They were like, "Oh, well, I'm out." Um, a couple of casinos were sold out by big mobsters. They just sold them outright because they were offering them three, four, $500 million. Well, 20 years ago, that was a load of money. 30, 40
Yeah.
years ago, even 50 million, 100 million was a lot of money. Now today, these places, these
Yeah.
companies are making billions of dollars, but that's basically what happened. There are actually, Glenn, there are still one or two mobster hotels left. I'm not going to get into who they are. I don't know
Yeah.
if there's any left on the main
You know that
strip anymore.
the big M word, the mobster word is
Yeah.
you, you,
Well,
you,
I don't want to send somebody there and get their asses
you
killed because
got to
they're
use
trying to find a mobster.
you got to use code words.
Yeah.
But Joe, are you
Actually,
Italian?
I am actually. My last name's Montaldo. Um,
Yeah. Yeah,
and my
you're
wife is
Italian.
that
Yeah. Now,
my wife was actually Italian too. But she's a Geis. She's one of them. It's so in their family was the I forget that the oh damn, they own Castellana seafood. But I grew up in the whole thing. It's just for me. It was my dad wanted to keep me out, so he was always like, "No, you can do this, you can say that." I mean, and I was offered many times to join. It was just a good friend of mine. I was remodeling his restaurant. I
mhm.
mean his bar, and he used to take me on collections with him. He said, "Man, you should just come with me." He said, "Look how much money I'm making a week from collection." He was turning 40 G's a week
Yeah.
doing collections. That was his cut. So you know how much money the mob was making. And he's like, just come with me. He said, "Look, I'll split this with you if you just come ride with me." I'm like, "No, that's okay, dude. Because once you're in, you ain't getting out." So it's
No,
but
no.
the family grew up, and my dad knew Carlos Marcelo very well. They grew up as kids together. So it was a
Yeah.
little different for me, and I didn't know who he was. I just called him Uncle Carlos. I had no idea he was a mob. So I didn't find out he was. I didn't know what was going on in my family till I was like 16. And a friend of mine had a picture. I had an album I brought to school with me to show, just some shots of the family getting together. And then I didn't realize at the time it was my dad, Carlos Marcella, the governor of Louisiana, the lieutenant governor of Louisiana, and the head of the state police all having dinner at our house. And I was like,
Wow.
"Oh and I didn't know who they were. I mean, really, I didn't. I had no clue. These were just people I seen like any other family members. I just seen them from time to time at barbecues, and or we go over their house. Like Carlos had a house on Airline. I go hang out with his grandsons and his kids and all from time. I didn't have any clue. I was
Yeah.
just a dumbass, and now I know. I mean, now I know what I was in, but back then I didn't know. I should have known. There was times like Joe Marcella, the youngest brother, he owned this boat place where you could go rent boats to go fishing, right? And
Hmm.
when you walked into his office, the whole back wall slid. Behind it was a casino, and they actually had a place for the kids to go play. That was cool as
Really?
hell. Yeah,
Well,
it was a crazy
you
setup.
got you got to throw the kids in there to kind of camouflage stuff.
I mean,
But
they just, yeah,
well, I'll tell you this, man. I mean, those were the good old days, and I tell you, I mean, um, real quick, and then we'll talk about that teaser thing. We're talking about how once you're in, that's it. Tony Bennett was discovered, and it was the mob that got him where he was at, but he wanted out, and he bought his way out in the music world by the mob. He bought his way out. But it's once you're in, like you said,
yeah,
you're in life. That's it.
you're
Um,
pretty much
so
in for life. There are ways out that don't involve a
eh,
a box,
exactly.
but
Now,
not
now,
many.
now, my grandfather was born in Naples, and all the family moved to Jersey. So they're all Jersey people. Like, my father used to hang out with Joe Pesci when Joe Pesci was a barber, and then he became a musician. And that was in the '60s. My father had met him, and and stuff like that. But Italians, we got a lot of. We're very talented.
Yeah, there's a lot of talented people in the Italian
Oh,
world, and
absolutely, absolutely.
a lot of
But
evil bastards too. And still, we gotta love them all.
yeah, there's a little bit of everything. But there's good people and there's bad people anywhere you go. But I'm
That's
I'm, I'm
true.
going to shut up now. Go ahead, Joe.
Well, no, but I mean, there are, anytime you're in the world, it was funny. Like I was telling you about. Oh, sorry, hold on, let me put this on pause. I was telling you about when I go in and do collections. This was so funny to me. And I was 20. I was out of the military, so I was 20, 21, 22, somewhere around there. I remember we walk in this club in Laplace. We walk in the door. They're like, yes, sir. How you doing, Mr. Bayer? Blah, blah, blah. Oh, let me get you something to eat. Let me get you a drink. You know, the jacuzzi's running back. The girls back there if you want to go hang out. I mean, they treated this dude like he was God. And that's how scared they were of him. And anywhere we went, that's how it was. I mean, they weren't per se scared of him as they were the people he worked for. And but he would go in. They'd have the musicians in there. He'd go hang out with them and talk with them. And I got to meet a lot of musicians firsthand. I remember when I got to meet the Blues Brothers and stuff. It was because a lot of musicians somehow find themselves tied in with mobsters, and either because they're liked by them and they like the music, or they're being funded or sponsored by them. One or the other. But it does seem it was a very interesting thing to watch when I used to go out with this guy, and we'd hit 20, 30 clubs a day, and they would pay their dues, and you'd come back the next month and they'd pay him again. I'm like, dude, somebody's gonna put a bullet in your head one day. He said, not my head. He said they can't get to the boss. Wow. I was like, oh my God. But there'd be days you'd have 50, 80, 100 grand in his glove boxes riding around town. I'm thinking, Lord, if we get stopped, we're all going to jail, baby. So wow. it was just it's just part of life, though. It was just part of it. But we got a teaser coming up right here. I'm gonna let Giovanni set it up. So set it up before I play it. It's already. Oh, let me get it in the queue while you're talking. Tell them what they're gonna hear.
Well, basically, this is this is a teaser of an upcoming project called "I Am Johnny Stark," which is about my father and the life and times of his life. This is more for fans and stuff. There will be eventually soon there will be there'll be a official one, but this is the start.
Let's see. So hang on, guys. This should kick in right now. So let me hit the button.
Somebody once said to me, Johnny, one day you're going to be a big star.
Hey, all you cool cats and kittens. This is KROL Radio, Hollywood, California. It's a beautiful sunny day out here, and we got a great song for you by a new artist.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to a new, talented artist, Mr. Johnny Stark, with his hit record that just came out a couple days ago. It's called Rockin' Billy.
This is Danny J. We got a new talent coming on stage, and his name is Johnny Stark. He's going to sing his hit record called Rockin' Billy.
This is Big J from KKNV Radio Los Angeles. We got a new, hot record. The song is called Driving Me Out of My Mind by Mr. Johnny Stark.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Johnny Stark.
Somebody once said to me, Johnny, one day you're going to be a big star. Well, that time is now.
One move and you can hear them scream. He's the answer to a teenage dream. I've been getting paid $1,000 a month.
Sorry about the $1,000 a month commercial there, guys.
There you go.
It's so yeah. See, that's a good one, man. That's a good thing. So, what are you putting together here?
Well, basically, we're doing we're going to do a movie about my dad, from the beginning, the humble beginnings into going up from the childhood and into into his adulthood and later on. It's all acceleration of his life through music and his experiences. He wasn't what is known as an overnight thing, but he moved into Hollywood in the 50s, and he had started he'd signed his first contract when he was 19 years old with a record company called Crystalette Records, and with that, he went on tour with Connie Francis and Frankie Avalon, and did the Louisiana Hayride. He was on at the Apollo. He was on stuff like that, and then he just kind of ventured off. But my father's life, my father had an up and down life, and it's a very interesting topic. It wasn't one of those perfect life like Elvis had. I mean, Elvis went through his own stuff as well, but this one has a lot of heartfelt stuff in it, though, and I think it's going to be a great thing. And I've spoken with people I'm working with on this project, and the ball has begun to roll. on this thing. And I wanted to come on your show to talk about it and how listeners can come on in, and if they feel they want to get involved somehow or another, they can always reach out to me. There will be eventually a crowdfunding link, but they can reach out to me, and then I'll keep them posted about when that's going to happen. If they want to contribute something, there's going to be gifts involved. There's going to be some memorabilia stuff, and it's going to be great.
That sounds like it is. How long you think? I know it's going to be a while. I mean, none of this stuff ever goes together real fast, but.
Well, I'll tell you, it really depends. I'd like to say it'd be filmed sometime this year. That would be nice. We don't know. I mean, it just depends on how everything happens, and we're trying to go after a particular actor to play my dad, and that actor's name is Oscar Isaac. And if you don't know who Oscar Isaac is, go on Disney Plus and watch a series called Moon Knight. Or he was in Star Wars and a bunch of other movies. So he would be the best fit to play my dad. And so, but I
know his name, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, they look almost uncanny, the two actors and stuff. So, but I mean, I got excited to see and hear from you how much your radio show has grown.
Yeah, wait, say that again. You broke up right as you said that last part. Say that again.
I mean, I got really excited to know that your radio station is really growing in listenership and viewership.
It's all over the damn place right now. It's and like I said, pretty soon, right? I mean, this show's not live on Roku tonight. They will be starting next week and catch us live on Roku, but this show will be up on Roku tomorrow. So people can watch it on television. They can sit back and check us out and stuff like that. So one of the nice things is when we add in, things into the system, they get to see that as well, and they can click everything on full screen and watch it. It's a nicer way of doing that. And Blake, it was an awesome meeting. That's all I can tell you. I'm lucky I even remembered that it was so much. Well, it was just a lot of drugs and alcohol. That's all I can tell you. There's lots of it.
So this program we're doing now is on FM now, or is this where are we at right now? This thing we're doing.
We're everywhere. We're on FM, and this. Well, the time slot you're in right now is usually, the time slot you're in right now is usually UFO Undercovers. It goes to every country in the world. There's no way it doesn't go, but it's also 22 years old. I mean, it goes to places like Venezuela and North Korea and places like that. It goes all around. Where it goes all over China. The network's been broadcasting in China since
really?
Hong Kong was given back to China. Yeah, well, I was given a radio station in Hong Kong, and I was part of Pioneer Radio, and they gave it to me when they just decided to retire. And that when Hong Kong went back to China, the station was there, so they didn't say anything. So I get a letter. This is 6 or 9 months after they took Hong Kong back, and I got a letter asking me if I'd be willing to talk to them about letting the station go into, the rest of China. And I was like, sure. And I got on the phone with the gentleman, somebody spoke better English than I did. And he basically said, look, if you cannot talk about Xi Jinping, we don't have a problem.
Right.
And he said we could talk about anything else we wanted. And they didn't care. And so we've been there since that. So that's more than a decade now. And so we're all over there. We're in Russia. We actually had a big audience in Russia until the war started. And it's not because they're not listening to us. It's because they can't get us. We had a pretty decent, like I said, it's funny when we bring up North Korea, we got like 10 listeners in North Korea. But the thing about it is it's got to be somebody in the upper echelon because you can't get internet anywhere else. You got to be in the top 2% of their country to even have internet. So it's interesting that they're listening to us, especially listening to an American show out of America. Yeah, you got to be somebody because you just you get your head lopped off for shit like that. So I find it interesting. And Europe we've been in for a long, long time, and we're in Europe all over. And what cracks me up is how many people stay up to 2 o'clock in the morning to listen to this show in its entirety. They don't have to, but they do. And then the Friday night shows are later, so they don't listen because they don't. It's like 5 o'clock in the morning over there. But it's this particular show has been on the air. The slot's been here for 22 years, and they listen to us all the time. And like I said, it's midnight. we start airing at midnight there till 2 a.m. and people listen and stay. It's their version of Coast to Coast. We've been over there a long time, and we had a lot of listeners over there, and they enjoy listening to us. And we're all over Europe, though. And then of course it's simulcast. Generally, this show or the other show will do 500,000 to 1 million just in archive plays. And that's all over the place.
Well, I tell you, man, I'm having a great time talking with you, and I mean, we probably have a gazillion people listening to us right now. I'm sure, right?
Yeah, I'll know after a while. I can't reach the other computer to turn it on, but it's. I set it up earlier, so what it does is each server pops on. And the bad part about this is, or the good part, however you want to look at it, we only count our 14 largest servers. There's over, I think we reach 150. It varies on what we're doing, but anywhere from 150 to 220 servers around the world that carry us.
Wow.
So, and some of them servers represent big areas. You can listen if you're in Saudi Arabia right now. Guess what? You could listen to us we got Tehran in Iran. You can listen to us there. Even with all this violence going on, we got over 36,000 followers there.
That's a lot.
Israel, we got people all over the place. It's just we do different radio, and there's a lot of different things on the network to listen to. So,
well, I'll tell you this though. When you spoke to me and said you want to come on, I was definitely looking forward to coming on your show to talk about about my dad's upcoming project and stuff. Like I said, the ball is in motion now, and I'm dealing with heavy hitters here, and this movie is going to be a much larger kind of a spectrum than I thought it was, and I thought it was going to be, but it's going to be a big deal, and there's all these movies coming out now about. They did a Whitney Houston movie, which unfortunately bombed at the box office. They did a James Brown movie, and they did the Elvis movie. So now it's my father's turn now.
Yeah. Well, there's kind of like Buddy Holly and all them. Those are all things that, and right now, which will do good.
Yeah, and I was talking with my people, and they said we got to get people like Frankie Avalon, Fabian, Frankie Valli in the movie, not to play themselves because they're old, but put them in the movie. Because people like them too and stuff. But like I said, people can reach out. I don't know if I gave you my Facebook link where people can reach out to me. If they look under Giovanni Sticco. I don't know if would you be able to put that link up on where they can reach out to me, Joe?
Actually, you should be able to type it in. If you look to the right, there should be a little comment box you can type in.
Oh, okay.
And it'll go out to all of the servers right there.
Let me. So do I click on the chat button?
Yeah, just click it on and just make sure it's in public, not in private, and just go ahead. Even if it's in private, I can resend it.
It says here, chat with everyone.
Yeah, that's what you want.
One second. Yeah, I'm just putting you on the pause thing here real quick here while I go in, and I'm going to get it for you right now so that everybody can reach out. Can you see me, or am I in the blank at the moment?
No, you're in the blank, but you're okay. While he's over there stripping for whoever he's stripping for, I'll be talking to y'all.
I part-time.
That's what he's a Chippendale, right?
I'm a cam person. I do stripping on the side.
That's right. He's stripping on the side. Y'all ladies just, oh no, it's $9.99 a minute, ladies. And I get half, so just go ahead and send it in there.
Exactly.
Send it in there. No. Let's see. Let me see if I find it. Oh yeah, there it is. So let me do it this way. Come here, copy, go back over here, click on that, and bam, wham, thank you, ma'am. So now there it goes. Yeah. So now it should be on all of our Facebook and YouTube pages. So you can stop on any one, ladies and gentlemen, just click on it. Later on, when this goes to Roku, we will put it. Oh, you know what? I'm glad we said that. So let's do that right now. Let's go up here to.
Oh, Joe, you got my Facebook link.
Wait, hold on. Let's put this in right here so they can see this. This will be in the archive. Let's hit save, and then let's hit ticker. So look down at the bottom. You should see your name going by along with your Facebook link on the bottom of this picture. It should be clicking by. There's a ticker going by.
Yeah, and as far as my Instagram, I think if you just type in the Giovanni Sticco on Instagram, you'll see the same picture of me as you do in Facebook.
Well, what you need to do is you need to do like I do. My Instagram and Facebooks are tied together.
Yeah,
Matter of
because
fact,
whenever
I
I
actually got
post,
4 of them tied together. It's weird.
yeah, I actually, when I post something on Facebook, it automatically goes to my Instagram. So I think if they type in the Giovanni Sticco, I think it's a Giovanni, whatever's there. I'm not sure how to work that. I'm not sure how to get the link for Instagram, but they can always, like I said, they can always reach out on Facebook. Now, how do I get out of here? Just going to click on the X thingy here. Okay, there I am again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, you can't click. Whoever just typed me that, no, you can't click the link on the screen. You can click the link I put up. So if you're watching us via any of those, you can't click the one that's moving by. But we just popped up one that went out to all of our Facebook and YouTube pages, so you can click on those.
Yeah.
Yes,
And I think you can also probably, and you also put that. I think you put that link up there to watch the Johnny Stark teaser.
Yeah, and then we're actually going to put the teaser in there in a minute. Right now, we got your Facebook in there, but later on, I'm going to put the teaser link in there with it. I got an interview of his queued up. How long is this interview? Let's take a look and see how long.
That interview I did with my father was 13 minutes long. Did I give you a link for my father's interview? I did.
Yeah, I got one right here. I'm looking at it. Yeah, it says Johnny Stark rare interview. Let me see what else because you sent me a couple of things in here. Let me.
Sure.
Hold on, let me open my email back up. So what's this down here? Oh wait, this is a song. Wait, what kind of song is this? Open new tab. What? Sorry, man.
Is it the song Rockin' Billy?
Yep, that's it. Oh, we're gonna have to play this.
Yeah, please play it. I would love.
Okay, we're gonna play this. Okay, Giovanni, watch the screen. Hold on. While we're talking, let me make sure this is because, like I said, sometimes this thing doesn't like to pick up on. I might have to change. Yes, I am. Damn it! It doesn't like Microsoft for some reason. I don't know what that is, but it just doesn't like Microsoft. So let's get that out the way. Let's pull up Google. People, I got so much crap on my computer. Most of y'all wouldn't. If y'all seen my screens, most people would go running home crying. They'd never get on a computer again. They'd be like, Jesus, what is this idiot doing? I mean, people, I don't think y'all understand what the kind of crap. At any one given time, I'm not kidding you, at any one given time, there will be no less than 10 or 15 windows open. On show nights, it could be up to 40 or 50. You got to really know what you're doing to deal with that kind of stuff. But anyway, let me bring this up right quick. Let's get this piece of advertisement out the way. Put that like so. I'm going to bring this up and share this right quick. There we are. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Dun, 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 dun. Johnny Stark, Rockabilly, 1957. Away we go.
Rockin' Billy, Rockabilly King. Rockin' Billy, he can really swing. All the women flip when he's in town. Rockin' Billy never lets him down. Rockin' Billy on a Saturday night. Rockin' Billy gonna rock all night. Shakin' Billy with all your might. Oh, shakin', rockin', rollin' with a broad daylight. Rockin' Billy, Rockabilly King. Rockin' Billy, he can really sing. One move and you can hear them scream. He's the answer to a teenage dream. Well, Rockin' Billy, Rockabilly King. Rockin' Billy, he can really swing. All the women flip when he's in town. Rockin' Billy never lets him down. Yeah, Rockin' Billy, Rockabilly King. Rockin' Billy, he can really swing. All the women flip when he's in town. Rockin' Billy never lets him down. Rockin' Billy, rock and roll them hard. Swing it, Billy, you can hear them sigh. Shake it, Billy, make them tap their feet. Rock and roll it with a rockabilly, beware. Rockin' Billy, Rockabilly King. Rockin' Billy, he can really sing. One move and you can hear them scream. He's the answer to a teenage dream. A rockin' Billy, a rockin' Billy, a rockin' Billy.
Well, see that I could have got up and danced to that, man. That's dancing
Well,
music. Yeah.
I got news for you, and I got news for people. Now, the background singers, the background singers' name. The band was called Four Winds, and the key singer in the background, singing in the background, is Gordon Lightfoot.
Really? I didn't even notice.
Gordon Lightfoot, as we all know, the famous Canadian singer who did all those songs, "If You Could Read My Mind," and he moved out from Canada out to LA, and he was doing sessions with all these different up and coming singers, and they would be hired to do the background stuff, the doo-wop stuff, whatever it was though. And Gordon Lightfoot had a band called the Four Winds or whatever it was. And I just found that out. So Gordon Lightfoot had done a few recordings with my father as background, and also Elvis Presley's singer, Kathy Westmoreland, did some stuff with my father, and also Dodie Stevens, which was on the Dot record label, who did also music in the background. She had a famous song called Pink Shoelaces back in the 50s. So my father was he was doing some big stuff.
Yeah, well, it's good. It's a good, and he's got a good beat. I mean, it fits in nice with the era. I mean, there was just, it's a nice, it's a nice, comfortable beat going through there. And I like stuff. I like the kind of music because, one of the first things I ever learned how to dance was swing, and that's not actually swing, but I mean, you can dance to it the same way. And well, no, guys, that's circuit. There was a music that was coming out of the mid '50s on up, maybe even a little earlier than that. And what he's talking about his dad here is the same type of music, and it was just good music, and there was a lot of it. And it was good. I mean,
it was really clean stuff. But there was one thing I have to say about my dad. My dad didn't stick into one decade. When it went into the '60s, a lot of singers they couldn't get into it because they just didn't have that voice. But see, my father studied opera as a child, which enabled him to hit those high C notes. So when he started singing hard rock, now I don't know if you want to do this because this movie is about my father from the 50s to the 60s, 70s. If you wanted to, I don't know if you wanted to play one more song, and you'll see what I'm talking about. If you type in, now he went under different names. He went under Johnny Apollo was his second stage name that he went under. But there's a song called "Am I Wasting My Time?" If you wanted to play it for the audience.
Let me see if it's which am I on the right one? Hold on, let me see where I'm at here. No, I'm not there. I guess I'm gonna have to do it from over here then.
Sure.
Okay, hold on. What was the name of the song again?
It's Johnny Apollo, and the song is called "Am I Wasting My Time?"
I know that name, Johnny Apollo.
Johnny Apollo, yeah.
Yeah, am I wasting my time? Let's see. That fingeritis here, people. Let's see. Come on! I gotta stretch the screen out. Apparently, this thing's being a pain in the ass. Okay, hit search Rooney. Search Rooney. That's wait, is this it? Hold on, I don't know if I got the right one or not. Let me see. Johnny Apollo.
It should have a thing called "Happy Loving Time." It's a cover of an album.
Oh yeah, I got the right one then. Yeah. Well, I was just looking around because. So let me grab this right quick, and we will switch it.
And this will show his range of that he didn't stick with the same voice years later. It just got better and better and better.
That's okay. That's all right. Stop that. Okay, hold on, guys. All right, we're gonna put that right there. Well, we just gotta switch it over to Google. That's all. For some reason, it doesn't. I don't.
And my father actually wrote that song. He wrote that, and that was distributed by a company called Ace Records. Ace Records, which is the same company that Gary Paxton, who wrote the Monster Mash, was on that same label.
Okay. Okay, we're gonna cue this up in just a second. What is that? Jimmy Lee. Jimmy Lee. So your daddy was in that kind of music, naming you Jimmy Lee. I can already tell.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just saying, man. I
Yeah,
said,
yeah.
you got two first names, man. Come on.
Hmm.
You can go Lee.
But hey,
You
man,
go Dick.
he wanted to get into everything, man.
Let's see. Hold on here. Share the screen and find a Chrome. Share the screen. And there we go. Bum, 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 bum. Yes, we're going to cue this up, ladies and gentlemen. So hang out. It's about 2.5 minutes long. And we'll be back after that. So stay tuned. Whoops. Fat fingeritis again. Right out of it.
When we drive down to Lover Lane, all the boys call your name. When we walk down the street, you know every bar we meet. Am I wasting my time? Am I wasting my time? Am I wasting my time over you? When we go dancing at night, you say everything's uptight. When you do the dance you do, all the boys are looking at you. Am I wasting my time? Am I wasting my time? Am I wasting my time over you? Am I wasting my time over you? Alright. They were walking hand in hand. Now I know that I'm your man. I'm as happy as can be. 'Cause baby, I know you love me. Am I wasting my time? Am I wasting my time? Am I wasting my time over you? Over you, wasting my time over you. Am I wasting my time over you? Am I wasting my
Sorry guys, I had to
On
get a
every
drink.
vacation
What
at
is
a
it? We
verbal
lose
Oh,
care about all this other stuff. These damn commercials. See, they're trying to get their little 5 cents in there and make their money. See, I recognize the song. I knew I recognized Johnny Pop. Come to think about it, he kind of sounds like a cross between the Animals and Cretans. It's weird. Only in the beginning, though. In the beginning, there was something with the song that gave me a Creedence Clearwater. But then once he started singing, he sounded more like Eric Burden in the Animals. And
well,
then I did a little
yeah.
crossover into something a little deeper than that. Wait, deeper is not the right word. A little harder than that might be a better way of saying that. Yeah, I grew up on all that
Well,
music.
it's funny. It's really funny that you should mention that. I'm gonna tell you a quick little story. Um, um, uh, there were a couple bands that wanted to hire my father, but for some reason he didn't. Whatever. One of them was the Rascals. Are you familiar with the Rascals?
Yeah, I'm familiar with the Rascals there.
Yeah, and also Robert Clayton Thomas wanted to quit the band with blood, sweat, and tears. My dad came. My dad was gonna take over, and then Robert Clayton Thomas had heard the rumor about my father and heard my dad sing. Said, "Oh shit, I better run back because this guy's gonna take my job." And my father, as he got more experience in music, his voice just accelerated into like this man could sing anything. He sang country western, he sang pop, he sang everything.
Oh, good
My
singers.
father was
Yeah.
very round. He was very rounded. The man could sing anything. I mean, my dad was great. I mean, and you saw how he went from like rockabilly to classic rock.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And I imagine, a good singer, a really good singer, I should say, because if you go, this is an easy one for y'all, ladies and gentlemen, because y'all know who the Stones are. So if you listen to the Stones way back when, before they were famous, and listen to some of the early music, you're going to hear a different type of music than what you grew up with on the Stones. And even while you were growing up with Stones, the entire time, their music was changing. It went from one type, and the same thing with the Beatles. They started out with this bubblegum, yappy, cappy kind of music and went into some mellow kind of thing and then out into something else. And then they went into some psychedelic thing. I mean, it just got a little weird there for a while. And the Beatles are technically before my time. I mean, I'm a little younger than that, but still,
Well,
you
you're
can
Joe.
listen.
Joe. You're in your 30s, Joe. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry. I wish if I was in my 30s, we'd all be millionaires by now. It's
Yeah, I'll
Jack.
tell you though,
Yeah,
that was the thing. I mean, is that bands had to keep reinventing themselves though, because I mean, every 10 years music was changing. It went from the very. You see, when my dad came out to Hollywood, he was like a very innocent guy, sweet guy. He was from Jersey, and then he started getting a whiff of what it was like in Hollywood, and the times changed, and he went with the times. I mean, to where he became like a wild man. I mean, guy was. I mean, he was doing constant recording. He was pushing the limits. He was doing hard rock. He was working on the Sunset Strip. He was doing records. I mean, what a great life my father had, and and I've always appreciated great things. And the Stones, what I would say they were. Everybody says that the Stones were like number 2 as the greatest bands of all time. Do you believe that the Beatles were number 1?
I go back and forth with this. Well, no, because there's some other groups in there I might actually put in with those too. So I like the Beatles. I think the Beatles were damn. I think the Beatles played the wave. But let's be honest, without Elvis, there wouldn't have been no Beatles, people. Let's just be honest about that. See, you forget there was a progression here. Elvis was really the guy who brought rock and roll to be. Whether you like it or not, he was the guy who brought it in. The Beatles followed him by over a decade later. He was a guy up there shaking his pelvis and acting like an animal. That was not acceptable when he was singing. He opened that door for both the Stones and the Beatles. And then I think the Beatles opened the door for the Stones. And let's just be honest, there seems to be a progression that may have gone too far now. It may have gone too far because now it's going past the point of let's make music. Let's just make a lot of noise with a lot of flashy lights and a lot of naked women. Okay, that's not music, people. That's just just noise. And some of it's. I mean, don't get me wrong. There are songs I like that come out in 2022 and 2020 all the way through. And somebody asked me the other day if I like the Jonas Brothers. I do like 1 or 2 songs they sing. I could probably go through a lot of just everyday musicians. Yeah, I like a song here, a song there, a song here, a song there. It's like the Animals. Right. What got me to like them was House of the Rising Sun, and then I've actually heard better versions of that since they sung it. And there's some women who have just blown it out of the thing. There was a 10-year-old girl like that made me cry. I was like, Jesus. And then the girl who sings it in the blues, she does a really good job with it. Linda Reinhardt or something, she does. I mean, it's just so. So there's this movement forward until you get to a point where how do you go any further? How do you top the guy before you? I mean, there's some pretty big names we're talking about here. How do you top the Beatles? How do you top the Stones? Aerosmith sure gave it a run for their money, even they didn't never do it, never did it, but they did give them a run for their money. And there was other groups out there, Foreigner and Journey, who really, were just entirely different music, but they gave them a run for greatness too. Even they didn't do it. I mean, look, the hard thing about the Stones is Mick Jagger's still singing. He's 75 years old, and he's still up on stage singing. I
saw him on stage, man. The guy was running on the stage like he's 18 years old.
I know he's insane. I don't know how he does it.
He's going to be 80 years old this year.
Yeah, and he's insane. But he always said he was going to die right. And I was listening to an interview of his when he said, matter of fact, it's in what's his name songs, but he's the one dance like Mick Jagger. I can't remember the singer song, but it's in there, one of the interviews. And he's talking about, he said, how long y'all think y'all going to do this? And he said, I don't know, a year or 2 longer. He said, we only been doing it like a year, maybe 2 years. I mean, he didn't think they were going anywhere. And this guy's got gold records that he could do a whole damn freaking room with. And then the Beatles are legendary for the kind of music they did. I mean, it's hard to top them in what they did. And not just that, they did movies along with it. So, I mean, it's hard, It's hard.
That's true.
But it's not a fair comparison because it's different kind of musics, really.
It is, but something though, people keep coming back. What the old saying goes, history repeats itself. People are going backwards instead of forwards with the music because they realized it was a great time. And I got news for you though, like, getting back to my dad though, my dad used to always tell me, I said, Dad, how much longer are you planning on singing? He says, I'm going to sing until I die.
Yeah, that's the way it should be.
And the thing of it is that, a friend of mine once told me, he said, fame does not defy talent. Talent defies fame. Okay? So just because you're famous doesn't mean you're any good.
No.
My father...
There's lots of crappy people out there.
Oh, there is.
With big boobs.
And they get in for all the wrong things, but fame has nothing to do with talent at times. It really doesn't. I've seen so many people like, how did you make it? Because they got the connections. And now we have things, social media,
It's funny how many people are born into this field. But what's funny? Lately, I've actually seen, now this is not in music, this is in TV and movies, but I've actually seen some children come out and be as good as their parents or if not better. So I've been surprised by that because usually they turn out to be little shitheads that have no talent. They're living off of mom and dad's money. They're just waste case. But too, I was thinking when I was listening to your dad, it got me thinking about Julio Iglesias and Enrique Iglesias. These are two guys who are giving the world a run for their money. And it's amazing to see a father and son that can sing like that. Julio, I never understood either. I went to a concert and I was a little younger for this. I was probably about 9 at the time, 10. And it was a concert. First off, there was only like 3 guys there besides me. And he got to sing, and these women were passing out. He wasn't even speaking English, people. He was just passing out. I was like, I can't take this, man.
You, it was crazy. The one thing about some of these singers, even with my father had stage presence. He had sex appeal. I mean, women were going crazy for my father because, I once asked this question and the right answer back. I said, who do you think are more desirable, a singer or an actor? And they said a singer, because a singer gets inside of you. And you could fall in love with that singer just because of the lyrics. There's something magical. When they sing, there's vibrations in the music that touches your mind.
And the singing is real. Acting is exactly what it is, acting. Singing, when you're on that stage singing, you're singing to that audience. Whether you're singing to that individual person or not, it doesn't matter. You're singing to that audience. Oh no, guys! I've been on stage several times. Now I can't sing to save my own ass, but when I'm doing lectures, I'm lecturing for the audience. I'm not up there for myself. I'm up there for them, and I will single out people in the audience to drive the point home. I'll have to tell you, man, when it's not for the night, that's stuff we do when we're helping train people when they got to get on stage, and because it's not stage fright's a real thing. I've never personally experienced it, and I've been on some pretty big stages, but it's it can be overwhelming when you're just standing in the cheering is so it just makes you deaf. Yeah, not me. I've been in lots of places with lots of famous people. I was on stage. We're not going to get in it tonight, but I've always been a big music fan. I've been real lucky because of the way I grew up. I had access to a lot of music that people would not necessarily see. And New Orleans is a weird city, and the fact that a lot of artists come down here to relax. Main reason why is New Orleanians don't go around saying, "Can you sign my autograph?" It's just not what they do. They usually won't even try to sneak a picture. You can tell it. That's how you tell a tourist from somebody local. If they see somebody famous, they just go home. Guess who I saw today in the French Quarter? But that's the end of it. They don't, because they know why they're there. Unless it's for a concert, it's different. But I mean, if they're just there, and there's a little club called the Dungeon. The Dungeon's an interesting place. It's a little tiny bar. I mean, itty bitty tiny little thing, and it's got an upstairs in it. And then upstairs is a private bar behind it and all. And a lot of famous people would come up there and just hang out for whatever reasons. I'm not saying what they were doing up there because I have no idea. Yeah, I've been there a few times, but still, I don't know what they were doing. And I got to plead the fifth on this one, people. And but it's a very cozy place. And they would come there and they would relax and drink and have a good time. And then these guys would show them where to go around, and stay out of trouble. And then they'd go over like Patos. And Patos is like 6 bars in one. And they got the outside
Right.
fighter, but they would cordon off sections for them, and they would just become nobody. They'd be eating dinner. Nobody. I still remember several different famous people said they kind of felt funny because nobody was bothering. Nick Cage said I had to move out of New Orleans because nobody wanted my autograph. I felt like nobody was watching me on TV anymore. I was like,
Right.
he's
Right.
like that, and his house was haunted. That was 2 reasons ago. But he's not the only one. Angela Jolie said she used to get no makeup on, short, those tight things on, and go jogging with her kids, and nobody even look at her. She said a couple of times on television, she said, I must have become ugly. And what's his name? Old man would start laughing. No, baby, you're still sexy. He said they didn't bother him. Even when he was doing Habitat for Life, rebuilding homes down here, nobody would ask him for an autograph. Not even the people working with him. It's not who we are as a city. There's a lot of singers, a lot of famous people come out of the cities and around the city. So to us, it's just part of everyday life. It's really the way Hollywood should be, but it's just not. They're just junkies or something. I don't even know how to explain it.
Yeah. There are some there are some places where celebrities can go and they really don't bother. And one of them, which Elvis loved a lot, Elvis used to like to hang out with Tom Jones, and Elvis used to rent a place in Hawaii, and it didn't bother him there. Elvis felt very comfortable there.
Yeah.
And,
Well, I
and
know
he
he
could
used to
just
go
be
hang out in
himself.
Tupelo too.
Yeah, I
He'd
mean,
go home from
he was,
time to
you know,
time.
he was a Southern boy, and Elvis, he was just a good guy, and he was just, he was very respectful. He was always yes sir, no sir, and that's something that I think we should take some cues from Southern hospitality and Southern kind of demeanors. That it's a very good thing. Southern hospitality and the way they talk is yes sir, no sir. Out here in
Yes,
the
and they
West,
open doors and close doors.
no, I mean,
Yeah.
the only people that say yes or no, sir, are people that are in the military. That's it.
Jeannie, to answer your question, it was Elvis Presley, Jerry Lee Lewis, and I can't remember the pastor's name. He is extremely famous. He has one of these big, huge followings. He's been in trouble once or twice, but the three of them were cousins or something, and they used to go
Yeah.
jam out in Tupelo. And what's his name would get the flock together, and them two would sing and entertain, and they'd preach and sing and entertain, and that's what they did. Everybody said it was ungodly blast. I never personally, I was too young. Matter of fact, I might not have even been alive when they were doing that. But it sounded great
The
to me,
person
and
said,
and it's just part of it. But that's just part of Mississippi. There's a lot of blues out of Mississippi. So
yeah,
there's a lot of blues out of the French Quarter, and a lot of people like to play the blues. Actually, there's some bars in the French Quarter that like the what is it? The what do you call when you reshoe a horse? Oh man, since what happens, you get old people, your brain goes. But anyway, there's an old bar. I think it's almost 300 years old, and they used to like to go down there and hang out and sing. It's just what is it? Oh man! But anyway, and if y'all can find it, it just looks like an old collapsing brick house on Bourbon Street. Oh yeah, this thing looks like it's about to fall on top of your head and kill you. It's not, but it looks that way. And no, it's legit old. I mean, it is. It's when the guy who makes horseshoes, um, whatever they call him, and that's what it is. That's what the bar is actually named. Yeah, no shame on me for not remembering, but you'll if you get to go.
you mean a place? Are you mean a place like where the horses get their water?
No. This is the name of the club is like the name of the buildings. It used to be way back in the beginning. It was where you'd bring your horse to have shoes put on it, and
That's I don't
and
know
that's
that, but
what
I
it's
will
been
say
named.
one
It's
thing.
been named ever since that, and then it came forward. And they said witches
Yeah,
owned it and all kind of other stuff. It's creepy weird.
well, I'll tell you one thing. That person that she was mentioning about Elvis's cousin, that was Jimmy Swaggart,
Yep, that's him,
the
Jimmy
evangelist.
Swagger. That's him. That's son of a no
Yeah,
good
they
dog.
were related. Well,
Yes,
I
they
got news
were.
for you though. What
Can you imagine being
my
with them
dad told me.
three? Oh my God, that would be insane. Go ahead, I'm
I
sorry.
mean, he's preaching. He's preaching with the girl on his lap.
He's
Um,
they were something else. As family, they were just and how did they I mean, who was looking over these three guys? I mean, Lord
I
have
don't know, but
mercy. I mean, they
are you
must have
talking
done
about
something good in their last life.
Yeah, you talking about Elvis and Jerry Lee Lewis and all,
Yeah,
and Jimmy Swaggart?
Swagger, yeah. Yep.
I got news for you. My dad. See how that's way before my time, but I will say though that my dad
Yeah.
said that is that Jerry Lee Lewis kind of ruined his career because he married his cousin and she was 13.
Yep.
He was like something. That was not a good move. And number two, he had issues with Elvis, and one day Jerry Lee Lewis kind of got through the gates at Graceland and was shooting his gun. He said, "You better get out here, you son of a bitch." They didn't like. He did not like Elvis. They had some issues with each other, but
Because they
of
were
course
family.
Elvis. They were family, but you don't go in the. You don't scream outside of Graceland with the goddamn gun and say, "Get your ass out here."
In Old South, you might have. In Old South, you might have got away with that. Today, you wouldn't. Somebody come arrest your ass today.
No.
But
I tell you something though. Talking about Elvis really quickly here. In about 1969 or 1970, my father was invited to a lot of parties. Including a very famous comedian by the name of what was his name? The guy who Dustin Hoffman played his life story, Lenny Bruce. My father was invited to a lot of places. So 2 times, my father, Elvis Presley had learned about my father, and Elvis wanted to meet my dad on 2 occasions. See, Elvis had a place up in Beverly Hills, and unfortunately, my father was not able to go though. And Elvis really appreciated my father's music though, and my father to this day he felt so bad that he was not able to meet Elvis. He said, "You know what? If I met Elvis, I knew for a fact that we would have been really good friends though." So Elvis loved my father's voice.
Elvis liked music. I mean, he got into it because he liked the music. He liked to sing.
Absolutely.
People all forget that. When you talk to people about it, people forgot how Elvis liked to sing. That's why he did it. It wasn't when he got into it. It wasn't for fame or fortune. It's because he liked to sing. It's what makes a great football player a great football player, because they get into it to play and not the money.
Exactly.
And that's what he got into it for. Later, he got greedy because
well, of course he had. This is what my father said once. He said, "You know what?" And it was a very good thing. He said, "You know what? To get into music for the money is a wrong attitude. It should be about the music, not money. The money is a wrong attitude, because you don't sing because you want money. You want to sing because you love singing." And my father, his head was always in the right place at all times. To have the thought of having money is just a wrong attitude. And when Elvis was done with his shows, for 3-4 hours after the show, when he was back at the hotel in Vegas, wherever, he was on the piano playing music with Charlie Hodge and all his Memphis Mafia. That's how much he loved, and he used to do a lot of gospel. Elvis loved gospel.
But yeah, because he was raised on. It was one of the things he learned how to sing early on. And there's been a lot of famous singers come out of singing gospel. So because that's some of them notes are pretty hard to hold. That's why.
I agree with you. And it's something magical about it. And a lot of people didn't like Elvis when he came out. They didn't like his shaking. They said colored music and why you shaking like that, and they didn't like it. But Elvis didn't care. He did what he had to do. And
he did, and he enjoyed it, and he liked it. And then he went and served for his country and came back. I mean, that's not even something you even hear about anymore. But let
me ask you a question. Do you think the whole going in the service was a publicity stunt, or do you think they really wanted him?
I don't. He's just a down-home Southern boy, even without his singing. So he'd have made a good soldier, regardless. But for them, but then I actually thought the first time I heard this, it was for publicity. But when I went back and looked at the era, they didn't use it much. The Army didn't really use it, and I was kind of like, wait. You got a fantastic singer at the height of his career. You just janked him out and put him in the Army, and you're not going to use it? I would have thought at very least that it had him singing all over the place. It just seemed like they blew a good thing that they had, or I don't know. The whole thing just felt weird to me. I did in the beginning, though. I thought it was a media stunt to get people to join the military. But they weren't having problems with people joining back then, so I don't know what it was about. They just clearly said, the Army said it was his number. He had to go. That's how it was.
It was a numbers game. There was nothing going on really.
They said it was a legit draft. I was like, okay, well, but then I thought, okay, it was Elvis Presley. Why you want to kill him off? I was kind of like,
it was a weird thing. I'm at the same. Well, my father went into the military because he had a very unpleasant life. His mother was very abusive. He didn't like living at home, and so he joined the Air Force in the 50s, and same like Elvis. So, you know, and Elvis was a good soldier. I mean, he didn't go to restaurants. He always ate on base or in his home, and he did his time, and then he got out. And my father, the same thing. So there's, you know, a lot of people say there's a lot of coincidences between Elvis and your father. And this was some rockabilly, somebody, whatever, said there was a lot of coincidence between, and every time people look at this very young picture of my father, I don't know if you have that picture, if you want to put it up on there, but, oh, he looks like Elvis. And maybe, I don't know if it's the look he had, whatever, but, you know, I meant Elvis being good looking definitely helped his career. It really did. You know, I really do think so.
Well, no, well, there ain't even no doubt about that part. I mean,
no, there's no doubt about it. And when my father came to Hollywood in 1956, the same year that Elvis broke through in the business, my father had signed a deal with a movie studio, and he was supposed to make a movie called Johnny Reb. And my father was to play the second leading role, and they were going to sing a song that he was going to sing called Johnny Reb. And then something happened and it fell through. And then Henry Wilson, who discovered people like Rock Hudson and Tab Hunter and a bunch of other stars, he wanted to sign my father with a movie studio called American International, and they wound up having people like what was his name, Vincent Price. He was part of that studio, but Henry Wilson was gay, and he had other ulterior motives for my father. And my father, listen, I appreciate the offer.
Wait a minute.
So he went. No, so my father had done a gig at the Beverly Wilshire Hotel, and some guy said, "Hey, Johnny, man, this was in the 50s." He said, "Johnny, man, you got a great look. You're a good-looking guy. You got a great voice. I got a friend I want you to meet. His name is Henry Wilson. He's a big studio guy, and we want you to go meet him." So my father went over there, and he sat down. He says, "First of all, Johnny, I want to tell you, you are beautiful looking, and I would love to put you in movies." And my dad said, "Wow, that's great. I'm excited about this." He said, "But there's one condition." Eh? And my dad said, "Well, what's the condition?" He says, "Well, Johnny, you have to sleep with me." And my father leaned back and said, in a very funny way, he says, "You know, Henry, I really appreciate the wonderful opportunity, but I'm not that type of girl." And he walked out, and Henry Wilson said, "What a shame," and that was the end of that.
Yeah, that's how Hollywood works. Still works that way today, unfortunately.
And Henry Wilson kept doing that with others, and he also did it to Quentin Tarantino's father. Quentin Tarantino's father took it in a much more in a different way, and he popped Henry Wilson in the jaw. And Henry Wilson said, "You know what? You'll never work again in show business." And Quentin Tarantino could not get a gig, even if it was an extra, even selling sandwiches on the set. That's how powerful the studios were in that day. Now, in those days, though, the studios covered up for any kind of scandals, whatever. Now, you do something wrong, it's online in 2 seconds. They don't look They don't look after their people anymore. You know,
they say is in a heartbeat today. I mean, that's another thing. Part of the part of who wait, what's that, Jackie? What did you send me? So lovable. Oh, you sent me. Oh, okay. I didn't realize what you were saying. Somebody sent me. I guess it said. Yeah, I think somebody just sent it to me just a minute ago. In a little while, guys, we'll put it up. Yeah, I got it now that you sent it to me. Yeah, so it's in my.
Yeah, so I'll tell you something though. That got decent reviews when it came out. Now in those days, my father's music was in magazines like Billboard magazine and Cashbox, a Song of the Week. My dad, they kind of said, well, this song is it's kind of like a Dean Martin song. I don't know. John's just trying to be like Dean Martin, but it got decent reviews. But you know, and then what song really did good for my dad too? My father was very good friends with Sonny Bono, and Sonny Bono only hired, you know, African American singers, but Sonny Bono had a song called "Teenage Lovers" that he passed over to Carl Burns, who ran the Chrysalit record label, and Carl Burns said, "I have a singer who'll sing it for you," and my dad sang the song "So Lovable" and a song called, excuse me, "So Lovable" was somebody else, but "Teenage Lovers" is what Sonny Bono wrote. My father sang it, but "So Lovable," some people like that song. It just depends on who's listening to it.
Yeah, it's on there. It's well, people, there's music. You gotta find out if you like music or not. Well, somebody the other day said, "Did you like every Led Zeppelin song you heard?" No. So I'm just gonna be honest about it.
Yeah, what did that person say? They said they wanted to play that song.
They sent it to me and asked me if I was going to play it or not. I said, "Well, send it over." And well, no, we still got
If
an
you want
hour,
to play
people.
it,
Just. Oh no, we don't actually, huh? It's almost 8.
yeah.
Jesus, I didn't realize what time it is.
I know.
It's
I
well,
don't
what
know
we'll
if
do
I
is
don't.
after we leave tonight, I'll let it play us out, and
Oh, that's
while
good.
Giovanni and I are talking, yeah, so y'all can. It's only 2.5 minutes long. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not long.
it's a brief one. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. If you wanted the audience to hear a couple seconds of a little bit of Johnny talking in that interview, did you want to do that for like about 1 minute or a couple seconds or?
We can
I
play.
don't know.
What we just played it. We can play it again now. And well,
Oh
actually,
no,
guys,
the
uh,
interview.
which interview?
I
We played one of
it's
them.
it says Johnny Stark rare interview. I don't know if you wanted
Yeah,
to
we
play a
played that at
couple
the beginning of
seconds.
the show. We
I
played
didn't
the whole
hear that.
interview. You
I
don't
don't.
remember? Yeah, where were you at?
No, no,
Yeah,
no,
we
no,
played.
no. Wait.
Yeah, the one
It
that's
says
what
Johnny.
is it, like 3 or 4 minutes or something? It's where is
No,
it
no,
at? I
no.
just need to.
No, it says no. I think you were talking about. I think you were showing the teaser of the movie. There's an interview one called Johnny Stark Rare Interview. That's me talking to Johnny about his career back in
Oh
the
yeah, that's
day.
one that's 13 minutes. Yeah, so
I
that's
don't
that
want
link's
to.
included. That link's going to be
I don't know.
included with the
Oh,
with
okay.
this. So let me make sure
Oh,
that it's
okay.
in there. I didn't see it a minute ago. So let's see something for a quick second here.
Sure.
It's so yeah, there it is. It's actually going to be next to the Facebook, Johnny's Facebook page, so y'all can pull it out of there. Let me make sure it is on there. And I'm going to send it out to everybody too in just a second.
Oh, great, great, great,
Let's
great.
make sure the ticker's going. Yeah, so it's in the ticker now, so y'all can find it there. But let me go ahead. Hold on a second. Let me go ahead and text it out to everybody.
Okay.
Let's go back over
But
here. Let's go back over here.
you got to send it out to 3 million people.
There you go. So there you go, guys. And so anybody listening to us via radio, you're not going to be able to get it unless you go to one of the video places. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's YouTube/watch !V, the equal sign, then OMP3JPVZP4A. Yeah. Did y'all get that? We can always go back and listen to it and find out. But really and truly, just go over one of the sites and click copy. It's on the Facebook pages. It's on the YouTube pages. No, it don't. It doesn't count for us when you click it on the Facebook. After the show's over, it doesn't count. It doesn't matter. No, it works. It just doesn't matter to us. It's not like we see any numbers from it or anything. No, that doesn't make any
Hey
difference.
Joe, I got a question for you real quick. Is
Yeah.
this still going to be also available only audio?
No, you'll be able to get the video features are already up. So when I hit end in a few minutes on both our YouTube pages, on 4 of our Facebook pages and our LinkedIn page, will all have a copy of this on them. So you can go get it and you can download it or you can watch it there in places like that. The audio version is the one that's going to do the really big numbers, though. It's the one that's going to go out around the planet. And when we put it up on archive and SoundCloud,
when does the audio go out?
this audio archive, now the show's live right now, but the audio archive will go out sometime tomorrow. Well, no, wait, sometime tomorrow. They go out the next day. They used to go out the same day, and it may go out tonight, but I don't want to promise you. If I got a couple of things ahead of it, but if it's not late, I might send it out tonight. But usually it's the next day.
I would love to know.
No, I'll text you and let you know what's up.
I appreciate it, man. It's but I tell you, conversation, man. Time flies, man, when you're having great conversation.
Oh yeah, I didn't even realize. Well, we started a little late tonight, about 15 minutes late. But still,
that's okay.
Excuse me. It's one of those things. What do you mean, guys? You mean a selection of all his work under different names? You'd have to get Giovanni to give you that. I don't know. Or you could just research.
What happened?
Somebody just asked me if there's a way to find all of his music under the different names. How would they find it?
Well, actually, if it's his 50s music, up until 1958, from 56 to 58, he went under Johnny Stark, and then he went by Johnny Apollo and that Johnny Apollo went, that went, up until like the early '70s, and then he went under another name, John Simeone, and he sang he did a couple 45 records. One of the songs called "Who Do You Love," and then he did a country western 45 under Simeone, I believe, and the song was called Western Guitars and King of the Country Sound. So my father crossed over the country as well.
There you go, guys. Just go check out the different ones. I can give y'all something to research and have some fun with. What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? Oh, this Friday is just politics. Emily's got her new show starting. FT shit. I can't get it out. FTW frickin'. I can't. Yeah, it's FTW frickin'. If y'all can't figure out what that means, I'm not gonna tell y'all. But she's got a show with us on the network. It airs on Friday from I'm sorry, 6 to 7 my time, Central Time. So she'll be on there. And of course, Jeffrey's back from vacation. He's been vacation. And then we do the Centralist airs 9 to 5. This week is going to be why don't the FBI raid Joe Biden's house after they found improper use of classified documents in 3 different locations. And they went and raided Trump's for just being in one place, under lock and key for that matter. So I don't know how this is going to play out in the press, and I don't know how it's going to play out in the House and the Senate, but it ain't going to be fun for whoever. Who cares? I don't care if they put Joe Biden in a box. I really don't. He's an idiot. I liked him when he was young and he knew what he was doing, but today he's like, some days he's like, all right. Some days, some days his meds work and some days they don't. That's all I can tell you. I watched Joe as a senator. He was good.
All I can tell you right now is, more people need to listen to Johnny Stark's music. That'll make him feel good.
That's right.
But I was going to say one last thing because I know you got to close it out.
No, go ahead. We had a few minutes.
I just wanted to say, once again, if anybody wants to get involved in the project, if they, we'll be giving out, some gifts for special thank yous for those who want to donate to the film. You can reach out to me on Facebook, Giovanni Sticco, and send me a private message. And I want to tell you one thing, Joe. I am really, really, I'm so grateful that you allowed me to come on your show.
It's been a good conversation, and I don't get to do this often anymore. Yeah, I don't. Most of the time nowadays, it's either hardcore this or hardcore that. And I used to like to do a lot of light stuff. Sometimes it's hard. There's so much crap going on in the world right now.
I know.
It is.
I know.
Don't forget, people. You will be able to see this on Roku in a day. Tomorrow, this show tomorrow will be on Roku and on the rest of our venues. But if you have to see it now, you can go over to YouTube or Facebook, or of course LinkedIn, and you can watch it there as well. And we had a lot of fun tonight. A lot of questions came in. What do you mean, Kara? Oh, UFO Undercover will be back next Wednesday. Oh, I'll be on one of the Van Hunt shows somewhere around February, and I forgot this lady's name. Let me go check it out before we leave. What, I lose more shit sitting in front of me, I swear. Where's my Facebook page? There it is. There we go. Kelly Schultz, she's got a show, and I'm going to be on her show on the 27th. I don't know when it's going to air because it's going to be at lunchtime, so I guess that's a pre-record because it's on Zoom. But I will let y'all know when it knows. I'll let y'all know when I'm on the hunt. I got a bunch more besides that I got to get out. I've got 36 guest appearances scheduled between now and April, not including 2 filmings going on. So, we're doing okay. I'm not supposed to talk about this a lot. So I met with a company. I'm not going to say their name. Very famous company. Met with them. And we agreed on what the wage is going to be. And we agreed on how we were going to treat the abductees and contactees. So last time they were in town, I hooked them up with a contactee and myself. And we did a narrative. They met with them. They told them their experience. So this time we're going to meet again. And I'm going to narrate the actual recreation. So they're doing a reenactment of the abduction experience, and I'll be narrating it. We're supposed to do two years of this at 14 each year, so we'll see how they go. Why am I narrating? Because I'm the guy. Because I'm the one who knows what the hell he's talking about. That's why. Because it's not just about the experience; it's about how we deal with it. It's a double folded show on how organizations deal with this and how people deal with this and how we help the people to deal with this as an organization. So it's a lot of stuff. It can be quite scary, some of it. So y'all be sure. I have no idea when it's going to air. Let me tell you something. The very first time I did anything big on TV, I thought, okay, I did it. It's going to air. Yeah, it aired 18 months later. The first time I did Coast to Coast, I did it. Okay, the season. No, it wasn't that season, but next season. Yeah, so I've given up on trying to figure out when they're going to air shit because it's never the shortest airing ever. Oh, thank you, Trish. I didn't even see you had it down there. WT Frick. See, I got it wrong. Trish hosts a missing piece on Mondays, and occasionally I talk her into coming to guest host on Fridays with us. I try to get her to come guest host and here with me. I think she's just scared of me. But anyway, what's that, Jack? Well, no, Roku's up and running now. If you got Roku, you can go now. Oh, yeah. There's a bunch of stuff up there. And what's going to happen is, I hate to tell you all this. First off, as we remove stuff from YouTube and put it on Roku, it's only going to be available on Roku. It will no longer be available on YouTube. So just telling y'all ahead of time. It's going to slow. Well, if YouTube would treat us like a human entity, I wouldn't do it. But YouTube is, how can I say this politely, a POS. Okay. I have never had the problems with any service I've ever used like I've had with these people. They banned us off of 3 pages. Every time a page gets last time they told us we only spoke hate speech and lies. Matter of fact, I got a lawyer on that one. Oh yeah, I put a lawyer on that one. I was like, really? I said, well, I listen to the show all the time. That's not what we do. So it just told me someone there was not things. I'm a lover, not a fighter. We're not always talking about politics. Sometimes we're talking about conspiracies. We do talk about politics in the first half hour, though, for sure, because there's usually some kind of crazy shit going on. And for that note, we're going to get out of here. Tell them one more time, Giovanni, where they can find you at.
Well, you can find me on Facebook. I think you're going to give a link to my Facebook page.
Yeah,
Giovanni Sticco. You'll see a picture of me on there, and they can reach out to me and see if they want to get involved some way or another with my father's film. Anything else I might be doing, they're welcome to contact me. They can look at some of my other projects I've done in the past. That's on YouTube. And once again, Joe, I appreciate you having me on your show. One Italian to another. Grazie mille.
I appreciate you coming by. I had a lot of fun.
Absolutely. And yeah.
Where's my pen? I got anyway, I gotta remember to write this down for Tamara and find out where her books are at, because they went out like I don't know. They've been out for come on, it's been 7-8 days for sure. So I gotta find out what's going on with that. Even in Canada, they should got them by now. I mean, come on, it's 8 days. I mean, I could have put them on a damn bird and flew them up there in that much time. Anyway, what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen, we've been giving away sets of books and stuff like that, and lightsabers and stuff like that. And I got to check on her. She won a set of books last time. We were on talking. Yeah, she's a regular guest of Michelle DeRoche's. If y'all don't know who that is. I should say the Outer Realm, since Amelia hosts there too. And everybody send Amelia wishes and love. Her kid's doing well, but the more wishes and love, the better. She just had major surgery, so she's doing good. I talked to her today. I said if she needs a bitch at somebody, I'm always around. She can scream and holler at me. I don't mind. It'd just be like another day. Hey man, I'm an Italian family. That's just part of life, man. That's just life.
The best.
You can't get upset about that kind of stuff. Oh man, my grandma and my great aunt threatened many times to hit me in the head with a pie. Look, I don't even fight with them. Yeah, she is a regular viewer, and I see her on there a lot. She asks good questions, which we always appreciate good questions. I don't know, but I'm gonna double check on hers because I have a tracking number for it, so I'm gonna check on it and find out. I will hit you up with a text probably this evening, maybe tomorrow, but I'll let you know what's going on with them because I need to know where they are anyway. I want to, because if yours not the only one I got. When I mailed hers, I mailed 3, 6, 9, 12. I mailed 10 sets, so it's 30 books. And I want to know they're all going where they're supposed to be going. Well, we want people to read them. Oh, by the way, again, I will tell you again, I will be in April. So I will be giving away pretty soon book 39. So I shouldn't even say this headline. Johnny Kitchen's gonna kick my ass. So I get privy to the books before they're released. I actually get my own personal copy that's sent to me every year. So this is what I'm going to do. I get it when I'm flying. I read it the week before I go out, and then I read it on the airplane. So when I get to LA, I'm going to do a show, and then I'm going to give that copy away. I'm going to get a bunch of people to sign it while I'm there. I'm going to give that copy away. Now these authors are the people of the future. These are the guys that are going to be making the new movies and new stories. I mean, there's a lot of famous. The judges there's a lot of famous judges there that have a lot of big movies to their credit. So it's a great group of people to hang out with. I personally love the judges. I'm friends with quite a few of them. So, but anyway, I will find out about that when I got to go do archives in a little while, Tim, and I'll pull it up and see what the hell's going on. And because they haven't sent me any defaults or any delays or anything like they did with my damn new toaster. Oh, it'll be there tomorrow. It'll be there tomorrow. 3 weeks ago. I've been hearing that. Oh, it came in today. I was like, oh, well, yeah, tomorrow. Like, how many tomorrows? I mean, Jesus, people. Where did it go? I think it got here and then they sent it to California or something. I was like, what the hell's going on here? And, but again, ladies and gentlemen, if you're out in the LA area or if you're going to be headed out there I will be out there the last week of April until probably May 1st or something like that. And then I'll be headed home. I'll be back in New Orleans. We got this crazy wicked ghost hunt coming up. It's either going to be early in the spring or early in the fall. So when I got the complete details, yes, it does cost money to go on whoever asked that question. But we're going to take you to 3 of the oldest graveyards in the area that are all in the middle of the swamp with nothing else around them. But now they're well-maintained graveyards, but you'll be out there and the wicked fog will come rolling in. You hear alligators off growling in the distance and groaning and moaning. And one of the graveyards, half the graveyard is these little little babies, and probably less than a year old. There's a whole, I guess there was must have been a plague or something that came through. But there's 50 or 60 of those in there. The graveyard is at least, I think it's 350, 360 years old. They're very old, and a lot of the graves, but they even still bury people today. So it's kind of crazy. It's in the middle of nowhere. These used to all be towns that NASA, in its infinite wisdom, tore down so they could have a buffer zone for building their rockets to, blow up shit and go to space. But these are really crazy looking, and we may even end it with either a tour of the Haunted Mortuary or Graveyard Number 2, where Anne Rice is supposed to be buried. She's not, but still, that's where all the tourists go. So we'll show you that as well. So it should be an interesting time. I have no idea what it's going to cost. I have to talk to 2 other people involved, and I'm sure it's going to be a pain in the ass. And if we do it where we got to provide transportation, it'll be even bigger pain in the ass. Well, these are outside of New Orleans, about say 30, we'll say 40 minutes outside the city. It's at the Mississippi-Louisiana state line off the Pearl River, and it's deep, deep, deep in the swamp. One of the places we're going to go is actually 12 miles in the swamp. Yeah, there's nothing else but swamp. And I'm not kidding you. If we go in the evenings, you're going to see hogs. You're going to see deers. Yeah, you might see occasional gator, other weird animals, bobcats and shit. It's insane out there. It's just stuff everywhere out there. And then you may see ghosties because it used to be a big Indian village way back in the day. Sometimes you'll be back there, you hear drums playing. It's creepy, weird. But what's creepy is when you stand at 12 miles back in the swamp and you hear metal things clicking and machines running, and you're thinking, and where the hell is that coming from? Yeah, that's really creepy, weird. That's creepier than the ghosty Indians back there. But there's a graveyard back there, and then there's 2 of them in I think it's called Napoleonville. So we'll be showing people those, and one of them all of them you can just walk right into. They're all supposed to be very, 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 very haunted, but not with evil, bad ghosts. These are friendly, happy ghosts, except for the kids. They seem to be pissed off. Well, real quick, and then we got to go. The one up on top on north of Interstate 10. It's only about 3 or 4 miles back in the swamp, but when we go out there, the fog only gets waist high, which is weird to start off with. So you can be standing there in fog waist high and look up and see this beautiful nightly sky. And then over the graves, but only over the graves, the fog does this. It rolls around. It's like starts in the middle and has two sides and it rolls back underneath itself and then roll, and it just keeps doing that. I have no idea what causes that. It's only over certain graves. It's very creepy, very weird, especially when you hear alligators off groaning in the distance. It's very creepy, weird. And then on top of that, they have these bottles of water they hang over the graves. They're on a string, probably about 3 foot long, and there's a bottle of water on it just hanging there over the grave. And it's not like there's flowers or anything down there to give water to. It's just creepy like that. And then every now and then on the other graveyard, they'll have these what looks like little white haunted ghosts. It'll be a string. Those little napkin ghosts the kids make. It's got a little round thing and a little napkin. It looks like that, but upside down and over the grave. I have no idea what any of that stuff's for. So no telling what kind of magic's being done out there. I've gone out many a times and found decks of tarot cards laid out. Oh yeah. Yeah, you know what I do when I find a deck of tarot cards? I got a torch in my car. There goes that spell right out the window. Protection and all, buddy. I know how to read tarot, guys. Trust me. I'm just being evil. I don't know. It's creepy. Trish, you go screaming like a little baby. You'd be like, oh no, let me out of here. Let me out of here. Now, Michelle, on the other hand, that crazy witch, she'd be out there trying to dig shit up. You can't. Michelle will go take a nap. So there's a couple of benches in there, right, in the fog. Michelle will be out there napping on the bench in the fog. I could see her now. Did anything happen? You're like, nothing scares that woman. She's insane. Yeah, people, if y'all don't know who Michelle DeRoche is, you really need to go listen to her because she will sleep anywhere. Okay, that came out wrong. Anywhere that's haunted and scary and demented. That's what I meant to say. Yes, that first one didn't come out right. But anyway, speaking of that, she is on air right now. We've got to get out of here. Giovanni is great. Tamara, we'll make sure you get that. I'll find out what's going on with that. Trish, thanks for stopping by. Everybody else is in the messenger room. I know, Trish. I know. Trish is our resident witch, in case y'all didn't know that. And anyway, we got to go, guys and girls. So everyone stay tuned or go hop over to the Outer Realm right now. It's on, and their show is running right now. So, again, everyone, thanks for hanging out with us. It was a great audience tonight. Had a lot of fun. Be sure to check out Giovanni and check out his dad and all the stuff we showed you about. And if you want to just go hunt down songs, go hunt them down. I mean, people get on YouTube and do this all the time. And as I was looking, I found at least 6 on YouTube. So just go check them out and then see what you like. You can always write to Giovanni, stop by his Facebook page and say, hey, I like this, I like that. This, that, or the other thing. Do some research, people. You know what I say? Always do your own homework. That way you know it's right. Good night, everybody. Dun, 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 dun.